Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today we have a special guest coming on after our Course in Miracles lesson. You are on ACIM. Here we are every morning for 365 days straight. We are on day 192. 192. We have been here for 192 days straight. Wow, look at you. Look at you being spectacular and honoring your commitments. Look at you growing through discipline. Look at you being absolutely magnificent. Let's have a deep breath. Breathe and clear the mind. Breathe and allow. Breathe and consciously connect with Source, the One, the All. And we call in the presence and honor and welcome the presence of our ancestors, spirit guides, angels, the archangels of the presence, and all of the incredible conscious beings who assist us here on this planet. Great Spirit, we allow the highest and best to unfold here. We allow the best of the best here. We give thanks that it is already done and that everyone in this space, everyone who is here, everyone who has ever been here, everyone who is yet to be here, are all with us right here, right now, in the sacred now. And we know that we are here for miracles, and we receive them. Ashe. We open our eyes and we engage A Course in Miracles, lesson 192. Good morning. Welcome. Whether this is morning, afternoon, or evening for you, you're in the right place. You are on A Course in Miracles, where the entire trajectory, essence, and flavor of your life is transformed based on you doing the practice and getting the win. Practice and win. This is a practice. Every day we practice, and we practice throughout the day. We're so happy you're here. We have a special guest coming up at 8 a.m. We start A Course in Miracles at 7 a.m. every single morning on 4 platforms: Valerie Love YouTube channel, Christian Witches YouTube channel, the Reverend Valerie Love Facebook fan page, and the Christian Witches Club on Clubhouse. And wherever you are, connecting with this, by all means, share. So tap that little share button and share it with one person or two or 20 or your audience. We have an incredible, incredible luminary coming up as a special guest today, this morning, that I'm so honored to be able to interview. And we're bringing you lots and lots and lots of interviews coming up that will just lift you, pardon me, and just inspire you and show you people on the planet who are doing great things. And you too can do these great things. Yes? Whenever you see someone else doing something great, just tell yourself, hey, that means that God is showing me my future. God is showing me where I'm going. There is no one greater or less than anyone else. Everyone here is equitable. There is the principle of equanimity. Not equal. Everybody's not equal in intelligence, equal in this, equal in opportunity, equal in that. People are not equal. There is equanimity, which means everyone has been given the same God powers. Now, however they express on the third dimension and what you do with them is completely up to you. So today, we will be bringing you an incredible luminary in the second half of our show today. And it's going to be so good. Let's go into our course lesson for lesson 192. I have a function God would have me fill. Let's go on screen share. I just love that you're here. I'm so happy you're here. You're so magnificent. I just love it. You're so freaking magnificent. Wow, you're shining so bright. I need some sunglasses. Lesson 192. We're lighting up the whole world. We're lighting up the whole world. Lesson 192. I have a function God would have me fill. Yes, indeed. You have a function God would have you fill. You have a function God would have you fill. I have a function God would have me fill. That's a 192. Tell yourself, affirm it for yourself, chanted within yourself. I have a function God would have me fill. I'm not here as an accident. I didn't happen here. And I'm not here just to roam around and be confused. And I'm not here doing things of my own accord. I have a function God would have me fill. And that function is the same function that I truly want to do. It is your Father's holy will that you complete Himself. Can you imagine? God itself is incomplete without you. And that your self, capital S self, shall be His sacred Son, forever pure as He, of love created and in love preserved, extending love, creating in its name, forever one with God and with yourself. Let's say that again. What is God's holy will? What is God's holy will? If we want to know, God, what's your will for my life? That's a question a lot of people ask, yes. What's my purpose? Here it is. It is your Father's holy will that you complete Himself, that you complete itself. The universe wants you to complete it. We're not complete without you. And that yourself, your capital self, capital S self, the true self, shall be the sacred Son, the sacred child of this universe, forever pure as He. You're untainted, you're not sinful, you're not blaming, you're not blamed, you're not guilty. You are pure, forever pure. Of love created you like itself, and in love preserved, love is preserving you. Extending love, that all you do is extend love, and creating in its name, that all you create is created in the name of love, forever one with God and with yourself. Yet what can such a function mean within a world of envy, hatred, and attack? What would our function mean if we think that what we look upon is real? Therefore, you have a function in the world in its own terms. For who can understand a language far beyond his simple grasp? Forgiveness represents your function here. Forgiving represents your function. It is not God's creation, for it is the means by which untruth can be undone. Forgiveness is simply the way that we undo lies. And who would pardon heaven? Pardon me, yet on earth, you need the means to let illusions go. In heaven, we don't need forgiveness because in heaven, there was no condemnation. In heaven, there was no thought that anything was wrong, shouldn't have happened. All is perfection. Heaven doesn't live in illusions. We do. And we look about and we are charged with letting our illusions go and let the truth shine and let untruth be undone. No one did anything to you. No one attacked you. No one betrayed you. No one left you. You can't be alone. You can't be abandoned. You can't be lied to. You can't be abused. You can't be killed. You're unassailable. You're indestructible. You're impenetrable. You're invulnerable. You dwell in the secret place of the Most High. You are an infinite being with a body avatar. And even though they touch the body avatar, they never touch the real you. We need forgiveness for all the things that we think happened to the body avatar. Yet on earth, you need the means to let illusions go. We do need something that would help us let illusions go. Creation merely waits for your return to be acknowledged, not to be complete. Creation merely waits for your return to be acknowledged. Creation, the universe, is not complete without you, beloved. You are the fulfillment, the completion of Mother, Father, God. You coming home. Creation cannot even be conceived of in the world. It has no meaning here. Forgiveness is the closest it can come to earth. For being heaven born, it has no form at all. Consciousness does not have form. Energy, source, is unformed, undifferentiated. Yet God created one who has the power to translate in form the wholly formless. This is why across the ancient world and all the way up until now, we have created and continue to create and benefit from symbols for the formless because there was nothing in the third dimension that would help us latch on to the formless. How can you can't grasp the formless. It's like trying to grasp air. And we cannot connect with things in this third dimension that doesn't have a form unless we're simply in pure consciousness. So to help us, we have symbols that are in the world of form, even though they don't exist and they're not needed in the world of formlessness. Forgiveness is needed in the world of form. It is not required. It's not needed. It's not known about in the world of formlessness, the great undifferentiated, what we would call ultimate reality, because in ultimate reality, nothing goes quote unquote wrong. Nothing bad happens. All the agents in ultimate reality understand the nature of ultimate reality, including yourself, that something can't get you. It's only people that have bodies that believe that. And they only believe it for the time that they have a body. Because while we have a body, we also have what's called an ego. And the constructs in our mind, the ego construct, tells us that there is such a thing as separation. We took a natural boundary. My arm is here and your arm is here. And I'm not just going to lay my arm on you. I have awareness that my arm belongs here in my space and your arm belongs there in your space, keeping everyone peaceful. We took the boundary of a body to mean separation and attack, rather than, the formless has come into form here and the formless has come into form here. The same formlessness has come into form here, 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 and here. The same one thing. That would take all the fighting out of the picture. What he makes are dreams, but of a kind so close to waking that the light of day already shines in them, and eyes already opening. Behold the joyful sights their offerings contain, that as your eyes begin to open, we behold joyful sights. Forgiveness gently looks upon all things unknown in heaven. The lying, cheating, stealing, abandonment, all that, that's unknown in heaven. Heaven doesn't know anything about that. It's not happening in heaven. There's no separation in heaven. And when we say heaven, we mean ultimate reality. So the Course calls it heaven. We understand that heaven is a spiritual term. If we were speaking about it scientifically and we were speaking with quantum physicists, they would call it, Professor Donald Holland calls it ultimate reality. They wouldn't call it heaven. Someone else like maybe Eckhart Tolle or Rupert Spira would call it consciousness or awareness. They might not call it heaven. Heaven is a decidedly Christian term. So we understand that we get, someone else may call it nirvana. We understand we're all saying the same thing. We're all referring to ultimate reality beyond the third dimension. Forgiveness gently looks upon all things unknown in heaven, sees them disappear, and leaves the world a clean and unmarked slate on which the word of God can now replace the senseless symbols written there before. In the beginning lessons of the course, this is exactly what we did. What did we do? After God bumps, what did we do? We wiped away our senseless symbols so the word of God could write on things what they mean. We said, I don't know what anything is for. I don't know what this table is for. We practice walking around all day. I don't know what that lamp is for. Because we had to divest ourselves of all the meaning we had splattered onto everything in our world. Unknowingly, unconsciously, we were creating senseless symbols, the Course calls them. Senseless symbols splattered all over our world. And the very beginning stages of the Course lessons tell us, well, just you got to erase all that. Erase everything you think everything means. Erase everything you think about everything and everyone, including yourself, especially yourself. These are simple, senseless symbols. And now we wipe the slate clean with forgiveness. That person is an enemy. Okay, I splattered senseless symbols on that person. Let me erase it by means of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the eraser. Forgiveness is the means by which the fear of death is overcome. Forgive everything. You don't have any guilt that something is going to come. You have no fear of retribution. It is the means by which the fear of death is overcome, because it holds no fierce attraction now, and guilt is gone. The guilt is gone. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't mess it up. You're perfect. Forgiveness lets the body be perceived as what it is, a simple teaching aid to be laid by when learning is complete, but hardly changing him who learns at all. You are the infinite consciousness that came into our body. You use the body as a teaching aid. It's a simple teaching aid. Oh, I have to learn some things. When the learning is complete, you drop it. And it says, but hardly changing him who learns it all. Didn't change you at all. You're the learner. You're the infinite consciousness going in. Probably last night while you were dreaming and your body avatar was laying in the bed, I was dreaming all over the place. I was all over this universe. You probably went into another body while you were dreaming, because you're the infinite consciousness that can do that. And your body, you know this, you do it every night. Your consciousness goes somewhere far beyond your body. You are that infinite consciousness. You are the one that is in the dream, flying through the air with no wings, soaring through the water with no breathing apparatus, and staying underwater. You are doing all these things that your body could never do. Your body is a teaching aid. You are not your body. You inhabited a body for a while. And then when you're done, when the learning is complete, you will lay that body aside. Stop thinking of death. It's life eternal. You took on a teaching aid. You have the teaching aid, as everyone did. We were talking about my grandbaby, right, last year, because we're coming up on a year anniversary of this incredible gift he is to us. 3 weeks and 3 days, that was his learning. His learning was complete. He left. He did more in 3 weeks and 3 days than some people do in a whole 100-year lifetime. And what he endured in 3 weeks and 3 days, the body, temple, I don't know if I could have done it. The mind without the body cannot make mistakes. Boom. The mind without the body cannot make mistakes. Your mind is perfect. When you're in pure consciousness, you can't make mistakes. It cannot think that it will die. When you're in pure consciousness, your true state, when we're in pure consciousness, you don't have thoughts of death because you know that you're infinite consciousness. Nor be the prey of merciless attack. Consciousness knows it can never be attacked. It's consciousness. How are you going to attack consciousness? Can you stab it? Can you go get consciousness and put it on the table right here? This is a radical shift that changes everything for you. Thoughts of death will fall away. Thoughts of sickness will fall away. When you know that you are the consciousness enlivening the body, you are the infinite dweller. You are the beholder. You are the witness. We have many ways to describe this knowing that you are not a body, even though we have been deeply brainwashed, hypnotized into body consciousness, thoroughly, in some cases, maybe 90 to 99% brainwashed, because there's always the part of your mind that is the mind of God. You could have never been 100% brainwashed because you do have the mind of God. Now, all we're seeking to do is be maybe 50% consciousness, remembrance of pure consciousness, and 50% crazy, and then 40% crazy, 60% pure consciousness. Just work it the other direction. Maybe some days you'll make mistakes. Well, you still have a body. You'll make lots of mistakes. A mind without a body can't make mistakes. As long as you have a body, you'll make mistakes. Yay! Good news about it. The Course says there's grace. By grace I live. By grace I am redeemed. The grace says that when you make a mistake, it calls for a correction, not retribution. Very different. Our inherent in the belief of guilt is some kind of retribution, some kind of consequence that is a damning repercussion. God doesn't have any damning repercussions. God doesn't damn anybody. No one. God never forgave, as the Course said, because God never condemned. God doesn't forgive you when, oh, please forgive me, God. God doesn't know what we're talking about. Infinite consciousness doesn't know what we're talking about, because infinite consciousness doesn't know anything about making mistakes. That only happens when you get a body avatar. Anger becomes impossible. And where is terror then? What are you angry at? Infinite consciousness. You're in infinite consciousness, one with all. And there is a way to live from the infinite consciousness in a body, and we call it being a mystic. A mystic can sit by the river all day and knows that it is one with the river. A mystic can look at a leaf and bawl crying. A mystic sees infinite consciousness, also known as God, also known as love, also known as spirit, in everything, because the mystic is living in pure awareness. They're just completely immersed. And we're going to talk about this more in the second half of the show today when we have our special guest on mystical experiences that we're all having. We don't want those to simply be fleeting moments of here and there. We desire these to be the way we roll, the way we live. You live your life as a mystic. You live from the infinite consciousness. You are acutely aware, and it is palpable, of God everywhere. You're acutely aware of it. You can't see not God. What fears could still assail those who have lost the source of all attack, the core of anguish and the seed of fear, all of which were living in the mind? What three things were living in the mind? Source of all attack. All my thoughts of attack live in my mind. That's their source. The core of anguish. The core of anguish lives in the mind. And the seat of fear. The seat of fear lives in the mind. So if we have forgiven all these, only forgiveness can relieve the mind of thinking that the body is its home. I am at home, fear is a stranger here. I am at home in the mind of God. You at home in the mind of God. The only thing that will help us remember that the body is not our home, heaven is our home, is forgiveness. It will relieve the mind of thinking that the body is its home. Forgiveness. Giving up what I think happened and let God tell me the real story. Only forgiveness can restore the peace that God intended for his only son. You can't be in peace holding this against that one, holding this against that one, holding this against that one. This one did this to me, that one did that to me. Your mind is not free and clear, beloved. If and especially forgive yourself, especially. That's number one on the list. Why? Only forgiveness can persuade the Son to look again upon his holiness. Only forgiveness can persuade you, because our minds kind of entrained on sinful aspects of ourselves. Oh, I did that wrong. I sinned. Da, 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 da. Even if you're not thinking it consciously, it's swirling around unconsciously, deep below the surface in the subconscious mind. Why? Because we're soaking in the Abrahamic religion of Christianity here in America. And if you're in America, you probably had some of the Kool-Aid seep into your consciousness, even if you never set foot into a church. It's in the atmosphere. It's an atmosphere. If you were in Ghana, all you saw are Adinkra symbols, and all you knew was everything they talked about in Ghana with regard to spirituality, you would be steeped in Adinkra symbols and the wisdom of the Akan. If you were in China, or if you were in maybe Bali, Indonesia, you would be Hindu, and you would be in the Hindu form that is presented there, that is practiced in Bali, Indonesia. You're soaking in it. There's flowers everywhere. Ganesha is everywhere. It's in the atmosphere. You're soaking in it. You're getting it, whether you think you're getting it or not. And you might have never gone to a temple in Bali. When you're in Bali, you're soaking in it. And it's a beautiful, peaceful energy. I particularly like the way they do it in Bali. And you don't see a Christian church on every corner in Bali. You see a temple. A temple here is, they call it a land of island of 1,000 temples. Island of the gods, a land of 1,000 temples. You can't make a turn without touching 5 temples in Bali. And every morning you see the priestesses of the temple. I don't think they call them priestesses. You see them come around and they put offerings before every door. Every door, you're going to see rice, you're going to see flowers, you're going to see incense. Every morning, everybody is off making their offerings. You're soaking in it. You don't have to go to the temple. Your consciousness is picking up everything all the time. Well, we were soaking in Christianity in this very Christian country. It was started by Puritans, people who wanted to just be purely Christian, even though they weren't very good at it. I haven't really seen anyone who's been very good at being a Christian. But anyway, it's beside the point. It's a conversation for another day. Even if you didn't go to church and get the guilt story or the sin story, you know the Adam and Eve story and the apple, and it plunged us into sin. You know the story even if you never went to church, because we're soaking in that story. And what we get to do is to forgive so that we can look upon our holiness. No one ever told me when I was growing up that I was holy. They didn't tell me that. They told me what I did wrong, what I need to do better. You got to do this. Yeah, they did prize me also. Oh, good girl. Oh, yeah, you did it. Yeah, they prized me for things, of course. They prized us. It also had a fair share of guilt in there too, which is just a lie. Even one drop of guilt in a whole bucket is still a lie. And they also gave us the sin story. And depending on where you are, I didn't get the hellfire story. Jehovah's Witnesses didn't have that. I was in the cult. Yet many people also got the hellfire story, that there's some horrible damnation waiting for you because you were bad and you did something wrong. All of that is canceled out with forgiveness. See, that's why we're walking around with fear, because we really feel the retribution of an angry God. And in the Bible, you heard about the angry God that was sending fire from heaven, that was killing people, that was telling people to go kill people. That was just, you couldn't please this God. This God is an insane narcissist and serial killer. So the story that we got in Christianity, it needs undoing. It needs undoing. So we go to the deeper levels of what does a Christian story really mean? It's a beautiful story of redemption, of, okay, I did something and I can be redeemed. I don't need a savior outside of me. That was an extreme teaching lesson, as the Course calls it. You get to save yourself. You get to redeem yourself. And you get to rise. It's a very inspiring story. You get to rise. And it teaches you there's no such thing as death, which is true. So there's a deeper meaning of this Christian story. Most of us were at the end of this bat that was the Christian story being beat by it. That was most of us. That's why a lot of witches tell me, I can't read the Bible. Are you kidding? They use that to beat us. Why would you want to be a witch and read the Bible? Because that wasn't the Bible's fault. That was the people who used the Bible as a bat. Now there's some magic in here. I'm going to go get it. They not being able to distinguish the difference between what people do and the intended purpose of something could have us afraid of a hammer, because you saw somebody beat somebody with a hammer. Oh my God, every time I see a hammer, oh, it's horrible. Get that away from me. Well, you'll never be able to build a house, because we cannot determine, we cannot discern the distinction between intention and actual use case. It was the person's intention that caused a hammer to be deadly. A hammer is not inherently deadly. Everything in the third dimension is neutral. A hammer is neutral until consciousness comes along and applies an intention to the neutral thing. This is why we need forgiveness. Because if you read the Course and you say, oh no, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel anguish. Of course you don't feel anguish. We're sitting here in a beautiful experience of reading the Course together. Of course we don't feel anguish. I'm not angry. Of course you're not angry now. You're in a meditative state. You're in an altered state of consciousness. We're in peace and bliss. We wake up early in the morning and we do our spiritual practices. Of course you're not in fear. Oh, but let something come up and see what it triggers. Does it trigger sadness? Does it trigger shame? Does it trigger guilt? Does it trigger depression? Does it trigger fear, anguish? what happens in your consciousness as life unfolds, because that then becomes our work. I just received a message from myself, capital S self, higher self, the other day of shame. I was like, oh, wow. I was sweeping up in my consciousness, cleaning up, also called meditation. And wow, oh, there's some shame sitting on the floor. Oh, what's that? Shame? And asked where it came from, nothing. Just apply the forgiveness principle. Okay, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Just sweep it up and burn it. Toss it, get it out of there. Still found it. Still found some more shame, because the deeper and deeper and deeper you go into the levels of your consciousness, you'll find things there. And if you're not finding anything there, you're not doing the work. Don't fool yourself, because you're in a teaching device. So if you have a teaching device, also known as a body, you're learning things. And if you don't want to learn, it's okay. Don't tell yourself, no, I'm good. I don't have anything to learn. Okay. That would be a deception. And you would absolutely grow much faster and more profoundly if you acknowledged humbly, well, I have a learning device. Let me learn. With anger gone, because of your holiness, because you forgave everything, you will indeed perceive that for Christ's vision and the gift of sight, no sacrifice was asked, none. You'll simply have it. And only pain was lifted from a sick and tortured mind. All that pain that I carried around, wow, was just lifted. It didn't ask me for a sacrifice. Is this unwelcome? Is it to be feared? Or is it to be hoped for, met with thanks, and joyously accepted? We are one, and therefore give up nothing. You sacrifice nothing. You give up nothing. When you forgive, you give up nothing. When you live joyously in the joy of God, you are not sacrificing anything. Well, we have indeed been given everything by God. You've been given everything by God. Now, this I had to prove to myself over many years, because I took on an exercise, and this was the exercise I took on because something started showing me that everything I was asking for in prayer, I already had. That's why I stopped asking for things, and eventually I stopped praying in the sense of how people pray, because what was I doing? Asking for this, asking for that, begging for this, begging for that. These are praying amiss, because these words do not acknowledge that we have been given everything by God. You've been given everything by God. What do you say in a prayer when you've been given everything? Prayer drops away. You don't pray anymore. What are you praying for? And who are you praying to? And what are you praying about? I mean, I love it. I think it's beautiful. I wrote a whole book on prayers, a couple of books on prayers. Beautiful, beautiful words. There will be a point when words will fall away, and you will simply abide in the beingness of love. There will be no words. And there will simply be the silent recognition that you are everything and you've been given everything. Maybe the tears will flow and you will weep in profound gratitude. Is not even a word that is worthy of what the experience will be. You will have stepped into your godness. Yet, do we need forgiveness to perceive that this is so? We need forgiveness to understand and truly perceive that we've been given everything by God. Now, here's an exercise that I took on because I didn't believe it. I was like, no, I need this and I need that. And you know, there was so much missing in my life, supposedly. Well, who was telling me that? My lower mind. Consciousness wasn't telling me that there was anything missing in my life. My lower mind was telling me that there were things missing in my life. There was nothing missing in my life. There was nothing incomplete. My mind was the scissors, the pair of scissors that kept cutting away, trying to cut away the infinite. It never succeeded. We need forgiveness to perceive that we've already been given everything. So, an exercise that I took on, and I said, okay, let me look at everything I'm praying for, and let me find and see if I've already been given it. Without fail, every single, I just looked at my prayers and I just wrote down my prayers and I looked intently at my prayers. And I looked at my life and I looked at my consciousness. Do I already have this? Every single time the answer was yes. After a while, the prayers would just bounce because I would say, I want this. You already have it. It was like a big circle. After a while, I'm like, what am I doing? I already have it. Maybe instead of praying, I need to be, this was just my path. Now, you take any path you like. We're not here to tell you what to do. Sharing with you my experience, not what you should do. Do what Spirit is telling you to do. This is what unfolded for me. But then I was in the silence, and meditation became the number one practice. And it still is my number one practice, meditation. Meditation, simply clearing the mind, coming out of the lower mind and being in higher mind. Meditation, where your body is healed. Meditation, where you see all of heaven. Meditation, where you commune with spirits. Meditation, where you understand the nature of reality. Meditation, where all things fall away that were illusions. Forgiveness. Without its kindly light, we grope in darkness, using reason but to justify our rage and our attack. We will come up with reasons, we will come up with logic as to why we should attack people, or why we think they attacked us, or why we should be angry. We have all this righteous indignation. It's baseless, it's groundless, it's substanceless, yet we believe it nevertheless. Our understanding is so limited that what we think we understand is but confusion born of error. We are lost in midst of shifting dreams and fearful thoughts, our eyes shut tight against the light, our minds engaged in worshiping what is not there. Wow. That means if I don't forgive, this will be my state. I'll have limited understanding. I'll be in confusion born of error. I'll be lost in the midst of shifting dreams and fearful thoughts. My eyes will be shut tight against the light, my mind engaged in worshiping what's not there. I will be completely in an illusory world and feeling all the pain. It's one thing to just be in an illusion. Illusion brings pain with it and suffering. So it would just be different. It would be one thing if we just believed things that weren't true and it was harmless. It's not harmless or benign to believe things that are not true. It's very harmful to self and others, to the whole of life. It's very harmful for us to be in illusions. Who can be born again in Christ but him who has forgiven everyone he sees or thinks of or imagines? Wow. They didn't tell me in church that's what born again means. They said born again means get up out of your chair on Sunday morning, go up to the church, receive the right hand of fellowship, and now say, I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, be baptized. Now you're good. Let's roll. Get your Bible, come every Sunday, pay your tithes, be a good person, and let's roll. Now you're one of us. You're in the club. Now you're going to go up, not down. That's what they told us we needed to do to be born again. No. Who can be born again in Christ? Here's how you be born again in Christ. But him who has forgiven everyone he sees or thinks or imagines. Forgive everyone you see or think of or imagine. Forgive everyone. That's how you be born again. Who could be set free while he imprisons anyone, especially himself? A jailer is not free, for he is bound together with his prisoner. If I'm holding other people in prison through my unforgiveness, I'm in prison too. He must be sure that he does not escape. And so he spends his time in keeping watch on him. I to make sure that you don't get out of this prison that I put you in of you doing something bad to me. So I have to stand here and watch you. I can't go out and live my life because I have to stand here and watch you and make sure you stay in my prison. Meanwhile, the person is living their life. You're the one in prison. The bars that limit him become the world in which his jailer lives along with him. And it is on his freedom that the way to liberty depends for both of them, for both the one that I have in jail and myself. I need forgiveness. Therefore, hold no one prisoner. Release instead of bind, for thus you are made free. Don't have people that owe you. Don't have people that you owe. And when we say owe, this is far beyond money. Like tally sheets. Like, yeah, I did this for them and they didn't even do this for me. No. Hold no one prisoner. Because that's an easy way that we can start holding people prisoner because I gave them this, but they only gave me that. Well, you better step up to the plate. Ooh, I'm holding someone prisoner. Let me release instead of bind. For thus you are made free. When you release all your prisoners, just open the prison doors of your consciousness, let everybody out. Let everybody out from third grade, from first grade, from your mama, daddy, brother, sister, abusers, molesters, attackers, rapists, all of them. Let them all go. Let them all go. Let them all out of the prison. Let them all out of the prison. So thus you are made free. This is why the Course gave us the definition of forgiveness. Here it is. Forgiveness is the realization, it's a realization, that what I thought happened has not occurred. What does that mean? Forgiveness is when you come to the realization that what I thought happened has not occurred. What does that mean? Because Kaisi, somebody did cheat on me in a relationship. Now that's a fact. I have the proof. No, Kaisi, somebody did molest me when I was a kid. That's a fact. Yes, these are facts. Now, here's where forgiveness comes in. What did I make up about myself and about the world and ultimately about God after or as a result of that experience? Yeah, the experience happened. The experience was probably no more than a few minutes. Somebody beat me up. Somebody stabbed me. Somebody robbed me at gunpoint. How long did the experience last? Even a horrible rape, one of the worst things in the world. Even seeing your parents murdered. Even seeing your kid die. All of these horrors of the third dimension. People on this planet have seen a lot of horrors there in this illusionary third dimension, this illusory third dimensional world, and none of us are immune. We're all beholding, sometimes your own body avatar is the one on the receiving end of something. Sometimes you're on the giving end of something horrific. Now, forgiveness. Yeah, somebody beat somebody up. Yeah, someone stabbed somebody. Yeah, somebody killed somebody in front of you. Whatever the horror is, it happened on the third dimension. Yes, it did. Now, after that, but in that moment, what happened in your consciousness? In your consciousness, terror. In your consciousness, the world's not safe. In your consciousness, I'm not safe. In your consciousness, where's God? In your consciousness, I must be unworthy. In your consciousness, I'm damaged goods. In your consciousness, I'll be like this forever. In your consciousness, I'm scarred for life. We say it. We say what we think it is, scarred for life. No such thing. So forgiveness is the realization that what I thought happened has not occurred. I thought that because I was molested, I was damaged goods. That has not occurred. You're still perfect, whole, and complete. Your body avatar had an experience, and the experience was horrific, and you didn't know what to do with it because you were a child, and it was horrible. We cannot say it wasn't. And now, as a grown woman, 30 something, 40 something, 50 something, 60, wherever you find yourself, it is now up to you to bring your inner child home to safety and peace within your heart of love. That's your job. You're the parent. Go get your inner child that was hurt, molested, abused, and lied to, slapped, and left in a corner, and left in there, and wasn't fed, and was punished, and was strapped down or tied down, or whatever the crazy nuts around us were doing. Obviously, they were in such deep horrors in their own mind that they were dishing out horrors. Only hurt people hurt people. This is the beauty of forgiveness. Forgiveness says, I'm not damaged goods. Forgiveness says that that thing did not change my essential nature. I was God before it happened, and I'm God after it happened. It did not change your essential nature, which is love. You were loved before it, you were loved during it, you were loved after it. This all happened to a body avatar, a stunt double, or what Professor Donald Holland calls an icon. Your body, it's a great word to use for it. Your body is an icon. It's a portal to dimensions beyond, and we can prove it by mathematics and science. It did not change your essential nature. Thus, forgiveness is very closely linked to knowing yourself as divine no matter what happens in the matrix. Therefore, hold no one prisoner. Release instead of bind, for thus you are made free. The way is simple. Every time you feel a stab of anger, realize you hold a sword above your head. Oh, Jesus. I feel a stab of anger. Oh, let me look up. Oh, wow. I have a sword hanging above my own head. Whoa. And it will fall or be averted as you choose to be condemned or free. Thus does each one who seems to tempt you to be angry represent your Savior from the prison house of death. And so you owe him thanks instead of pain. Everyone who triggers up your anger, be happy because they're a holy messenger showing me that I was holding a sword over my head. Oh, wow, let me avert this sword. Be merciful today. Be merciful today, especially to yourself. Be merciful today. The Son of God deserves your mercy. That's you. You deserve your mercy. Everyone deserves your mercy, no matter what they did. It is he who asks that you accept the way to freedom now. Deny him not. Your brother, your sister, your other sisters, brothers, and others who did all these, who perpetrated all these things. They're asking that they be made free in our minds. Deny him not. His Father's love for him belongs to you. The same love that created you created them. Your function here on earth is only to forgive him. That's it. Let it all go. Clean it up. Clean up our messes. Clean up our consciousness that you may accept him back as your identity, capital I identity, that we may come into the oneness. The unity. We are in 99 days of peace through unity, which started on World Unity Week. Go to worldunityweek.com to understand what we're talking about here. World Unity Week, and we are in 99 days of peace through unity from June to September. And what is that? It means that we are giving attention to peace through unity We're coming back into the unity because we've forgiven the separation and the schism that are artificially placed by attack thoughts, fear thoughts. He is as God created him. You can see everyone as God created them. And you are what he is. You and that one are one and the same. Love. Forgive him now his sins. Forgive them all. And you will see that you are one with him. You begin to have compassion. It's like the people who could forgive someone. They were in the courthouse and you see them and they've come into a place of peace. They come to a place of peace, even when they get to speak to the murderer of their child or the person who murdered their mother or their father or their family member. And you see the people that have truly forgiven because they're in a place of peace and you could not deny them this peace. They no longer are just churned up inside by anger, no matter how horrific the experience was of what we went through. No matter what. Woo! And baby, look at this super chat for $300. Look at God. That's what happened when you forgive. Money in the vortex, money in the vortex, money in the vortex. Woo, woo. Baby. Look at Miss Clovette. Clovette, you is a baller. Okay, Clovette, you be balling. That is my love. I freaking love me Miss Clovette. Okay, we met years ago, and I just freaking love this queen. Come on, Clovette. Doesn't forgiveness? Oh my goodness, it pays us in peace. Peace. Baby, the super chat is in red. It's like bright red. It's lighting up this whole super chat. And red is the color of fire. Baby, it's fire in the super chat. And now, family, we are preparing for our incredible next segment. And we have a special guest today. Oh, we have a special guest today. I'm so happy, so happy that we have a special guest today who is coming on the live stream with us. And as soon as I see her camera, I will add her to the live stream. I see her in the room right now. Hold on. I'm going to stop the screen share. Okay. Stop screen. Okay. And now we are going to have Miss Ariel Patricia, Reverend Ariel Patricia, come on with us. And I'm going to give you her bio in a moment. We have a special guest. So if you have any comments, anything you want to add, or anything you want to know about the books, we're going to talk about this incredible, these mystical experiences. If you have mystical experiences, by all means, add your comments to the chat. Here is our special guest. So Ariel, I do not see your camera. Are you able to? Oh!
What is happening? Okay, I'll just be a little not so bright. That's okay.
All good. It's perfect. It is perfect. Reverend Ariel Patricia. So before we begin, let me do a right and proper intro.
Okay.
So that everyone understands and knows who Reverend Ariel Patricia is, who I have been having the delicious pleasure of working with for some delicious creations that are coming up. Reverend Ariel Patricia felt the calling to found Sacred Stories Publishing and Media after a series of events changed the course of her life. Since then, she has been on a heart-based mission to help others share their wisdom and sacred stories of transformation. Ariel is an ordained interfaith minister from One Spirit, New York. Yes, Ariel, in New York?
One Spirit. One Spirit Learning Alliance, yep, and down in New York City.
New
Absolutely.
York City. Proudly served 6 years as a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps. When I read that, I said, "Oh, that's where all those good organizing skills comes from, and execution skills come from." And has a Master of Arts in Education and a Bachelor of Science in Business. She is the author of 2 books, sharing her personal journey with spirit, and is the co-author of 4 books. Now, as both sacred storyteller and visionary businesswoman, I love the melding of that. Sacred storyteller and visionary businesswoman. Ariel is the mystic behind the Common Sentience book series and Sacred Stories publishing and media. Her leadership in the fields of publishing, broadcasting, and online learning has put Sacred Stories Publishing and Media on the map as a conscious business enterprise with a soul for helping humanity prosper and expand our spiritual awareness. Welcome, Reverend Ariel Patricia. Ariel, welcome. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy.
Yay! Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is wonderful.
This
So,
is delicious. And
mhm.
really briefly, where are you coming from now? Because we know that you're traveling all over the world. I told the fam you're traveling all over the world.
I'm currently in Thailand. We landed in Thailand last week, and I was listening earlier, and you were talking about Bali. We'll be in Bali next month. So I'm so excited. So Thailand is incredible, just really off the charts, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I'm sure I'm going to have a story or two by the time my experience here is complete.
I love that. So we've got some questions. Let's dive into our delicious experience. So we want to talk common sentience. So we've all had these experiences. We just want to give the everyone here, family, a little background about common sentience. We want to get into this and into what it is and what's going on here, so you can really have a deep dive understanding into what Reverend Ariel Patricia is bringing to the world, and how you can be a part of it. That's really the very fun part of this. That we've all
Hmm.
had these mystical experiences, glimpses into consciousness beyond the 5 senses, and as Ariel says, that in a sacred moment, a flash of truth or taste of grace moves through us. These very mystical experiences, and our world is expanded and something is revealed, illumined, and felt. And that when we come back to our daily lives, we've changed. These transcendent experiences are becoming more increasingly common sentience. So it makes sense to finally claim and honor the next level of consciousness we're expanding into, sharing grounded wisdom and our intimate encounters, which is what I really love about this book. These books, they're grounded, and they share intimate encounters with the greater reality. The Common Sentience book series pens hearts, affirms our innate essence, and transforms our world. Now, this is a first of its kind book series that celebrates the mystical experiences that we're having as spiritual beings. These mystical experiences are happening all over the world. And each book in this series is anchored by a renowned thought leader on the spiritual phenomenon, who shares their deep knowledge and their personal stories. Now, they're joined by dozens of contributing sacred storytellers. That's you, family, that's you. You are invited to be a sacred storyteller. And you're going to see a lot of the sacred storytellers in this book series coming up over the next few weeks and months, which I'm so happy about. And you who've had these profound spiritual experiences and you feel compelled to share them with others. That's one of the things I love about this book series. This is a collective, this is a collaborative work. Read one or all of these books in our Uncommon series and feel the presence of the divine in and all around you. And so, before we go to our first question, in the common sentience, can you tell us a little bit about you and
Mhm.
common sentience and sacred stories? And I'm going to bring it up on screen share too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So, It's interesting because, well, I'm just going to hold up something that I felt compelled to share. It's on my desk, but this is a piece of nocophilia, and nocophilia is an all-healing mother tree in Cape Town, South Africa. And a couple months ago, I was actually in South Africa for a month, and someone said, "You're in South Africa. You should go meet nocophilia." And she's hundreds of years old. She's actually world renowned, really. Dr. Emoto has been to visit her. Desmond Tutu has been to visit her. Princes and princesses have been to visit her. And her mystery and lore is, stories. Actually, we're going to have an article in the upcoming issue after your feature about nocophilia. And the reason I'm holding this up is because I did go to meet nocophilia in person, and I met her human custodians, or friends that are caring for her. And I had, of course, an incredible experience with nocophilia, and I received beautiful downloads, lots of information, and she even showed me a lifetime that we had had together. And I was a Black woman in Africa, in Southern Africa, with her. And the reason I bring this up is because this is very real, and the custodians, Dawn and Ian, said, because you don't ever take anything unless you ask permission, we would like you to carry nocophilia with you, a piece of nocophilia with her. The bark had fallen off. We didn't take it off of her. And I was so honored, and I do. And her energy goes with me places. And just like we bring crystals, or we do different things at different places to connect more deeply, to honor, you're talking about Southeast Asia. So this is our part of our connection. This is who we are. We are mystical beings, and I'm just as close to nocophilia with the energy of her with me here as if she was a person standing next to me. And that is, to me, what is not talked about enough, that isn't shared enough, that those are those circles we try to find, or those are those people that we try to kind of get it, because people feel uncomfortable sharing this. People feel uncomfortable showing up authentically and saying, I have a deep connection with the natural world. I have a deep connection with the angelic realm. I have a deep connection with the star family. I've had these experiences happen to me. I know, Valerie, yourself, you had said that, in your childhood, a lot of that was, you were told that was wrong, or that's something you shouldn't do. And so this is just a tiny, tiny, tiny example of what is happening in this world with the support, seen and unseen, that we have with the sentient beings that are all around us, that we communicate with, and that they communicate with us as well. So I say it's time to bring the mystical to the mainstream. It's time to have these conversations. It's time to allow people the opportunity to dive in and not feel like there's something wrong with them, or they're ashamed, or they feel they're going to be judged. It's time for us as mystical beings of light to claim it and share it. And that's what this Common Sentience book series has been. This is what I feel that I've been called to steward for all of us, is this book series that allows us, that shares, as you said, the grounded wisdom, anchors the grounded wisdom, and brings forth the collective experience through story that so many of us are having.
Yes, and as you speak of it, we're going to bring it up, Common Sentience. And here is the book series. And can you see it on the screen? Can everyone see it on the screen? Just
I can see it. Mm-hmm.
okay, great. And this is at sacredstories.com, and you just go here to Common Sentience. And one thing that there's so much I love about this download
Me
series.
too.
It's so much I love about it. So what do you want to say about it before we go further?
Well, so far these are the first 14 books in the series. I will say that the series will grow. So the idea is that we want to take all the different ways that we connect, and we connect differently. We're different beings, I believe, from different places in the universe. So even though we're all here together, we have our main points of connection, our main points of resonance, and we can have more than one. But the idea is that this is a very big playground, and I want us to all to be able to play together. So whether your connection is through nature or through sound or through the Akashic records or through your experience as a witch or through the angelic realm, all of it, spirit animals, this is the beginning of it. I have many other books planned beyond this. So the idea is to take each individual spiritual phenomenon, pair it with a wisdom teacher that can provide the grounding, the information, so people kind of know the who, what, when, where, how. How does this phenomenon work? How does it connect with us? How do we connect with it, right? Really, so we're not just out there ungrounded, because that doesn't help anybody, right? And it gives us that framework that we have and can feel safe within, so we can explore more freely and deepen our resonance with the spiritual phenomenon. So each one of these has the wisdom, and then each one of it, it's not enough to just read about stuff. It's the experience of it that takes everything to another level. So it's not only the wisdom, it's all of these experiences, true stories that you can read, which I know will bring on experiences for people. And then the really cool part about it is part 3 of the book. Every book is 3 parts. Part 3 of the book is, again, back to the main wisdom teacher, like Valerie is for the book Witch, and sharing processes, deepening practices, things that you can do if this phenomenon resonates with you or you're having these experiences, to deepen your own experience with it. So we start out by giving you the foundation, and you experience it, and then you can deepen into it. And every book will do that. So you can read one, you can read as many as you're drawn to just expand our awareness, all of our awareness, as much as possible. And the reason this is important, I have to say this, and I try to say it every time, the reason this is so important, I believe, is that it's not just because it's really cool, but it is. It's really cool, and it's really fun, super fun, right? To widen our experience beyond the 3-dimensional world that's in front of us, to really step into the authenticity of our divine essence. But I believe the reason that it's very important, and why I invite everyone to do this, and why I've made Common Sentience really a main focus of my work now, is because I believe that when we're touched by the divine, I believe that when the spark of light within us is ignited, we get it. We just get it on another level. And then I believe that we choose to walk differently in this world. I believe we choose to be kinder, more tolerant, more compassionate. I believe that we will pick up the garbage that we see on the road, and we won't throw it there to begin with. I believe that we'll treat animals more, much more consciously. I ask most people to please stop eating animals for a million reasons, but we would think about things, because we're going to show up differently, because we're going to feel different, because we have experienced the divinity we are, and the divinity that is all around us.
Wow. You know, Ariel, you're so good at answering questions that you answered like the first 4 questions.
I know, I'm sorry. This is my passion.
Love that.
It's my passion.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful. It doesn't even need prompting. It simply spills out.
right.
That's how you know the
Yeah.
authentic sharing of the soul. It simply
Mm-hmm.
pours out. So
Mm-hmm.
tell us, I have a question for you before you tell us more about what you're looking for in the contributing stories, because we're
Mm-hmm.
inviting everyone to write these books with us. That's what I love about this. We're inviting
Right.
everyone who has these mystical experiences to write these books with us. I want to find out, how did you go from being a sergeant in the Marines to being a mystic and a conscious businesswoman who now has a Sacred Stories publishing and media, this huge publishing company and media company. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. Right. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
I would say, it's life. Life happened. I I know you know Valerie, but I mean, I'm currently in my sixth decade in this incarnation, I'll say, right? And so a lot of life already lived. And it really wasn't until, I really pretty much um, you know, college, marriage, kids, work, soccer mom, all of that, a pretty all American type of lifestyle to a great degree. And I always kind of thought, I think that there has to be more. I feel like there's more. I always felt like something else was brewing, but I honestly couldn't tell you what it was. And right before I turned 50, I had one of those major life events that many of us are experiencing, where I think when we're not really maybe listening and we're kind of just shoving that voice within us that keeps wanting to come up and say, wait, listen to me. I have something I want to say. The universe helps us. I believe my angels help me, the animals help me, and they just kind of took my life, turned it all up around, spun me around a few times, and landed me on my head, and basically on my bedroom floor, and just a heap of tears for a period of time, saying, what the heck is going on, and who am I, and where do I go from here? And so I started to reach out because I needed help. And I knew that I was raised Roman Catholic. I knew that my religious foundation, that's what it was. It was a foundation that I had faith that there was something greater than me, but it wasn't enough to get me through what I was experiencing. And I just started reaching out. I reached out. I've always had a deep belief in the angels, even though I haven't had necessarily maybe tangible experiences with them to that point. And, they say be careful what you ask for, because the animals started showing up. And I didn't even know what was happening at first. I have had so many mystical experiences with animals. I've had a live bat in my bedroom 3 different times, literally over the course of like 2 years, hovering directly above my face, waking me up with its wings, like
Yeah,
on my
when you
cheeks.
told me that, I was just
Yeah,
because I would have had a heart attack if I wake up to a
yeah, yeah, I almost did. I almost did have a heart attack. It was kind of bringing in like the before event when things were kind of going downhill, during, and then the transformation afterwards. But things started happening. I had to start paying attention. And so I started seeking. And that's why I'm an ordained interfaith minister, because I wanted information, and I started seeking and experiencing a lot of different spiritual experiences. And that just, I took that deep dive off the cliff, as they say, at one point, and just said, I'm all in. I have to follow my soul. And that's what I will do. And it's now been 10 years. And it's interesting because about 5, 6, 7 years ago, this whole name like Sacred Stories dropped in. And I just knew that I was to call my company or me or whatever the heck we were doing. I wasn't even sure at the time, Sacred Stories. And but I didn't really know why. I knew I was a sacred storyteller, but it still just didn't seem like the right a complete answer until common sentience really started being shown to me, and kind of all roads lead to common sentience that I can see in my life, including the name of the company, Sacred Stories. It's just so divinely perfect. Um, so I would say to anybody listening, not that I would wish, the universe to take you up and twirl you around and shake you up and dump you on your head. Um, but if it does, you're not alone, and there's some beautiful gifts in there for you to start uncovering once you get through all the crap.
it's very fascinating. I love hearing these sacred stories of how we come home to source and doing our sacred work on the planet. I love that because many of us were a sergeant in the military. I was a financial advisor. Many are doctors. They're, professors. We're doing all these things, and we were pouring our soul essence into those things.
Yeah.
Yet there was something greater. There was something great, and that all those things kind of added to who we
Yep.
are. We were going to use that. Being,
Absolutely.
yeah, use that
Yeah.
in our work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And even the things that we don't use, they shape us or inform us in a way that I'm still discovering connections and things that, and then I think, but I also believe that we have multiple purposes in this life. I don't believe that we have one grand purpose that we have to fulfill. I believe that we are multidimensional beings of light, and we do a lot of things at the same time. And so I also think that what's really important, if little off topic, but I think it's important to share, is that it's not that off topic. It's all of it matters. You know what I mean? So I speak to so many people through the years that they're searching for that one big thing they're supposed to do, or that one big purpose they're supposed to do, or what they're supposed to be finding. And I would say it all matters. It all matters. And it all doesn't matter just because it's leading you somewhere. It matters just because it matters. It matters because at that point in time, it had an effect on you and those around you, and you literally changed the world. And so we're that important. And so honor all of it, enjoy all of it. And when you see the connections and you see where it leads and how they kind of, I say all roads lead to common sentience for me at the moment. That's awesome. That's great. But that's just a piece of it. It's all important.
It is. It's so important. So now I would love to know a little bit about what you're looking for because we have a call for stories. So you have this incredible media publishing and media company called Sacred Stories Publishing. And in this incredible, you're the first publisher I've signed. I kept telling my audience, I said, this is the first publisher that I've signed on with that gets me, that knows what to do, that the alignment is perfect. I have not signed a publishing deal since 2006 with my very first publisher. Ever since then, everything has been published in-house with my own publishing. We have like a boutique publishing company that just pretty much publishes my own books, Butterfly Rising Publishing. This, Ariel, you did it. You are the one. So, how did you come to create not just Sacred Stories publishing and media as a conscious businesswoman, but how is the Common Sentience book series sitting in this larger umbrella? Because so we can get a real picture of it as you have it in your mind, so we can understand the vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the vision, well, for Common Sentience, the vision is that the books will be in every household around the world, that it will become a common name, right? So just like people know some other recognizable books or works, they will know Common Sentience, and they will find their path, or they will expand their awareness through these books, that even if they're entry points, and whether or not you are stepping your toes into the spiritual or mystical waters, or you have been on the path for your life, these books still hold some really powerful medicine and a really powerful information for you, because not only does it provide wisdom, it provides deepening next level consciousness that the wisdom teachers are bringing in the third part, but it's also providing the experiences, and the experience is the biggest teacher. And so you will see yourselves, you will get the ahas, you will get the heart will open, you will receive so much from reading these books. And so my vision is that this really does become the cornerstone, honestly, of what Sacred Stories and the people involved can bring to our world, that they become that important, because I see that I see that vision. I see that vision. I see it, and I know even from the first 5 books, I just have to hold them up. The first 5.
Woo! Could you show them to us in
Just hold
real
them
life?
up.
I haven't seen them
Um,
in real life. I've only seen them
so
online.
here, yeah. So here's Animals by Dr. Stephen Farmer, and you should be able to, you'll start seeing the series. I'll
I'm
show
going to
them
be
to
on
you in
his
order.
podcast. He reached out to me for me to be on his podcast, and I love it. And we will have him on the show too.
He's awesome. Stephen is so incredible. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work with all of these beautiful beings. Meditation by Sister Dr. Jenna, and she just takes.
Sister Jenna.
This is Sister Jenna. You can see Sister Jenna's picture. She is. She really does take meditation to another level. She is one of those people that just embodies. She just embodies peace. And Sister Jenna, I would just tell you, Sister Jenna is a Brahma Kumari. She's been running the Washington, D.C. branch of Brahma Kumaris for 25 years. She has American Meditating Museums, radio, everything.
Yeah, the Meditation Museum in DC, yeah.
Yep, she is the most like grounded, like peaceful, like she's just incredible. Sister Jenna, and I know it's like we had her as a in our magazine, so she has already told her story. Sister Jenna used to be like Jenny on the block. Sister Jenna used to own 2 nightclubs in Miami and South Beach.
You have got to be kidding me. There's no way.
Absolutely, no, I'm not kidding. She had the cars, she had the clothes, she had 2 of the most popular nightclubs in South Beach, and her mother joined the Brahma Kumaris, similar to kind of your story, right? She was kind of introduced, but she's like, yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me. That's not for me. She knew all the different sisters, and one time she was finally drawn to go to the Brahma Kumaris in India. And she tells the story about how she went into the hall, and one of the services was starting, and one of the sisters started talking, and Sister Jenna just said she just was like, tried to get up because she was like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
I can't do this. I got to get back to my clubs in Miami.
I got to get back. Like, this isn't feeling comfortable, right? And the sister started speaking, and Sister Jenna was just like, it was like whoosh, like I just sat right down, and for 5 hours I sat there. 5 hours, she just, and it changed her entire life, and from that point she changed. So we lovingly refer to her, she refers to herself as Jenny on the block, to Sister Dr. Jenna of the Brahma Kumari. So talk about a sacred story in the work she's doing today. Yeah, she's incredible. And then we have Nature, which is Ana Maria Vasquez. And I actually have a story in here about when the stones at Pots and Pans in outside of Manchester, England, their messages and when they spoke to me. So if you're interested in stone beings, there's lots of cool stories in there. Angels, I call them my A-team, Trisha McCannon. And not only do you learn like how angels appear to you and so forth, Trisha really goes into the 9 orders of angels. She actually shares some really incredible historical angelic accounts, real ones. Like, who knew George Washington was visited by angels? I didn't.
Really?
So, I didn't know. Joan of Arc, I didn't know. St. Francis of Assisi. I didn't know he was an angel. Yeah, but like really, so it's, and also incredible angelic stories. And then there's guides, our very newest one. This is about soul guides. And, Marilyn O'Leary really, she's a master teacher, and she really takes it to, talking about the cosmos and the planets and the moon, right? How the moon can be your guide, and not just that the moon is symbolic, but the moon is actually your guide, and you can interact with the moon. If the moon is looking at you, if you're looking at the moon is looking at you. It's really the idea of where your attention goes, the connection is made, and everything is sentient. And so Marilyn really takes it to another level too, like explaining what guides are. So these first 5 books are available now. Ancestors, Shamanism, Ascension, Sound are all next. And the call for stories for the next 5 is up. And I know that we want to talk about that. So
that's what we want to find out. So what are you looking for in these last few minutes? Because I know you've given us 30 minutes this morning, so we got to honor your time. So what are you looking for in these stories?
Yes. So
you're watching, family, you can write your story in the book free of charge. If you want to be a featured author, you can also take that investment. So what are you looking for when you ask for these?
So these are true, personal, first person stories. 800 to 2,200 words. It's not this very long essay. It has to be your true story, though. And it's about a mystical experience that you have had with one of the book topics. So for your book, it would be an experience as a witch. And the experience can be, so if you scroll down just a little bit, so you'll see the 5. So if you've had an experience with the Akashic Records or with the Muse, which is a divine spark, I know you're going to have Ash on your show talking about what the Muse is. Prayer. Temple Hayes is a unity minister and a shamanic practitioner. She takes prayer. She's going to take prayer to the full spectrum of what prayer really is. If you've had prayerful moments that the divine has moved through you, we want to know them. 1111, 444, butterflies and feathers and repetitive symbols and signs that come to you. It's a book with Simran Singh. I believe your audience is familiar with Simran. And then obviously a witch, the experiences of a witch. Valerie, you so beautifully explained it as the ancient call of the goddess, right? So, if the goddess has called you, if you are a keeper and a tender, as Valerie says, of the ancient ways, like tell us, share those experiences. So on our website, we have a submission guidelines. We really give a lot of writing tips. We give a lot of information about kind of what we're looking for, but we ask you to, right. So if you just go where it says click for submission right there, or that to the right, click for submission guidelines, we give all kinds of information, and then we actually give writing tips below that. So if you're like, how should I start or whatever, we give you some writing tips, and we explain a little bit about the book cover. So the website is chock full of information. We think we've covered everything you could possibly ask. But if you have a question, you can always email stories@sacredstories.com. The email's at the bottom of the screen. But it's what we're looking for is your experience. So you can frame the experience, so give us context, but then really kind of take us through your mystical experience, because we want the world to know, right? That you talk about as a witch coming out of the broom closet. I've been saying for a long time, the last closet for us to come out of is the spiritual closet, right? It's time to kind of step into our authentic nature and loudly and proudly and confidently and authentically share our experiences. I mean, we're having them. We might as well share them, and so we invite you to come sit in our sacred circle. We invite you to the sacred circle and to tell us your story.
And I love that every conversation I've had with you, Ariel, you've talked about the circle, that there is no one who is better or less than anyone else, that we're in a circle, we're together, and this is collective. I love
Yes.
that.
We are in a circle. Everyone is welcome. You are the wisdom teacher holding the circle. And I feel very strongly about, and I feel that the people that are coming on to the Common Sentient series, the authors that are saying yes, like yourself, like Ash, like Sister Jenna, like the other featured authors, they are true deep wisdom teachers, right? It's not just, and you have a way of sharing the information that is relatable and also deep and profound. So we're taking the guru down from the mountain, but we're putting him in the circle, because I do believe that the wisdom, the understanding, I believe that's really foundational and important for us to go deeper on our own. We can't just be swimming in waters and not have any context of what we're getting into. Experiences are powerful, and then but framing it with the wisdom is, I think, the piece to it that makes this series so special, takes it way beyond just an anthology style series, and I think is really what will give everyone the full mystical experience for them, in their lives.
I love that. I love that. So, Reverend Ariel Patricia, the brave, the mystic, and the brave businesswoman who is putting courageous or heart-based businesswoman who is putting the book Prayer in the same series with the book Witch. That
Absolutely.
is magnificent.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Ariel, for stopping by this morning. We're going to have quite a few of the authors on. As you know, behind the scenes, we are connecting with all the authors in the series, and many of them have said yes already. We have dates to either pre-record or to have them on live. I'm so happy you came and joined us live from Thailand. Any closing words you want to share with everyone, with the family?
Oh, I just want to say thank you to you, Valerie, for showing up as your beautiful, authentic self. And I want to say thank you to all of your audience and listeners, and all of the practicing witches in the audience. Because as I told this to Valerie, she already knows this before, but I truly, truly believe that for us to bring balance, for us to bring wholeness, for us to bring the feminine firmly back into our world, we must reclaim the witch. We must honor the witch to do that. Without the witch, we're not complete. We're still living with a little bit of fear of stuff we don't want to talk about. So the work that you're doing, Valerie, is simply so critical, and the work that your audience and the courage that they all have to show up, because claiming your inner witch is not easy in today's world, but it will be. It will be much easier once now that you're all here, and I truly believe with witch and prayer and everything else standing side by side.
That is beautiful. And a big nod to your work is from Dia, who says, wow, I have followed over half of these authors for more than a decade now. It's awesome to see them all in this one project together. Thanks for all you do, Reverend Ariel. Reverend Ariel, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take
Thank you,
care.
dear. Okay.
That was Reverend Ariel Patricia, and we are so thankful that she came with us today. We are so thankful, so thankful, so thankful. The website, yes, I will add the website again onto the live stream. I am so, so, so happy. One thing I have to say about Reverend Ariel, it's called sacredstories.com. And we can open up this discussion also on Clubhouse in a moment as I close the live stream on YouTube, two YouTube channels and the Facebook fan page. One thing I can say about Reverend Ariel gets it done. And I don't know how she gets done all the things that she gets done. She makes me put on my sneakers and run, because Reverend Ariel will be coordinating with, you see, she's coordinating with 14 authors in this sacred series. And each of the 14 authors, I have the God bumps right now, because I'm coordinating having the 14 authors, as many of them as we can get, on the show with us throughout the rest of this year, all the way up into December. Neil, who has an incredible YouTube channel called Portal to Ascension, Neil is going to be with us. And he is the author of the book Sound. He uses sacred sound and frequency for healing. Reverend Ariel gets so much done. When she says visionary businesswoman, this is a businesswoman, okay? She gets it done. And I'm just so elated to be connected with a publisher. I cannot tell you how much this project means to me. It means so much to me. And to be connected with all of these incredible wisdom teachers and wisdom holders, and to be able to be in a series where we're inviting the world to share their sacred stories. This is not someone talking at you. This is us having a mutual conversation. Like, how many times do you pick up a book? Like, all my books that I've written, pretty much, other than What is Beauty, they have been me talking to you. What about if we were all talking? What about a book that's a conversation? And most of the books have about 30 stories in them. Can you imagine? So we'll hear stories from people having mystical experiences. You're not I was standing in Bali and I was in the middle of a temple and I was just bawling. I was having this profound mystical experience. I'm telling you, for about 3 hours, I bawled in that temple in Bali. I mean, I was bawling on one of my trips to Bali. This was when I was in Bali, I think when I was living there for a period. And it was so profound. And in that moment, I wondered, the conscious mind wants to say later, what was that? And what is, we're now normalizing it. It's normal to go, it's not unusual. It's not unusual to see an angel talk to a spirit, see it, have a bat in your face, waking you up. 3 times that bat came and visited her in her bedroom. It's not unusual for you to be able to talk to animals. It's not, we all know this. Well, where have we told these stories? There are 5 books that you can be a part of right now. 5 of these books are open for your sacred stories right now. What are the 5? You see them on screen if you're on the live stream. If you're on Clubhouse, these are the 5. Akasha. Have you read the Akashic Records? Do you read the Akashic Records as an energy healer? What has been your experience with the Akashic Record? What is your sacred story? That's Akasha by Lisa Barnett. I'll be interviewing her soon, later this month. Ash Ruiz, Muse. He is a former member of Menudo, the boy band that hit Latin America by storm, and America as well. Huge in Latin America and huge in America as well. Huge international sensation. As a matter of fact, Ash, their documentary just came out about being in Menudo. So Ash is the author of Muse, or he's the wisdom keeper for Muse. And then all the stories in there about, has the muse visited you? Are you a writer? Are you a singer? Are you a poet? We know that this is coming from some dimension beyond. Are you a singer? Are you a dancer? What is your muse? What is your experience with the muse? Temple Hayes is the author of Prayer. What mystical experiences have you had with prayer? Did you pray and something instantly happened? Did you pray and the heavens open up? Did you pray and then you heard a voice? What's your sacred story? Simran Singh, signs. You're seeing 1111, you're seeing 222, you saw a feather on the ground, you saw a penny there, you saw 9 pennies there. You saw the signs. She's the 1111 coach and she's been teaching 1111 for a very long time. Simran Singh and I met long time ago at Intervisions. And Simran teaches, she's a wisdom keeper for signs. So if you have these signs happening, you keep seeing 222, you keep seeing this and that and the other, tell us your sacred story. And I get to be the wisdom keeper for the book Witch. Afraid to come out of the broom closet, afraid no more. We're going to hear from witches all over the world. We're going to hear from all kinds of witches and what their practice is and what their mystical experiences are as a witch. Witch is right there with prayer and signs in the Akashic Record and angels and nature and animals. It's right there with ancestors and all of the authors in this series. I cannot tell you how game-changing this series is, and which is right there in the same series with meditation as Sister Jenna of the Meditation Museum in Washington, D.C. I cannot tell you how honored I am to be in this whole experience. I cannot tell you how honored I am. So I'm so thankful that we got to have Reverend Ariel Patricia. Big shout out to all of our members on the YouTube channel who are only at $4.99. And for only $4.99 a month, you change the whole world, because none of these videos have ads running on them. Now, 192 days straight, no ads. There is zero revenue coming to this channel or to this work from ads. It is all sponsored by people who are loving it. That's what it is, to keep it pure, and because we don't want an ad blaring at you before you start your meditation. It's not appropriate. I got that in the very beginning of the year, that everyone who loves this work will be supported by everyone who loves this work. And so by all means, if you feel the need to, if you feel inspired to gift, it's below in the chat. If you feel inspired to buy all the books, the link, you saw the link, Sacred Stories Publishing. We're going to link it all up below. If you feel inspired to write a story in the book, we're going to link that up for you too. However you feel inspired to move, make your move. Do it. I love you. And I will see you tomorrow for lesson 193, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And this Friday, we're bringing you another special guest. I love you, family. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Peace. Kaisi out. ValerieLove.com.